Hey y'all, I hope you can hear me good. Okay, chain 2. I am still making these here red squares. Now these squares here are 4-inch. Those other ones I was doing with, I think, was 2.5-inch. But I decided that I was going to have to make too many of those squares for that. It just made me feel overwhelmed. Plus, the way I made the outside corners on those squares, I screwed up on that. And I only did a chain 1 in the corners, and I needed to do a chain 2. So it screwed all the corners. It just made it where I couldn't get them to go together square. You know what I mean? So it just... I don't even want to mess with them squares. Now, I might use them as the centers and make bigger squares out of them. And I can correct the corners with another couple of rows. I can correct the corners. I'll probably do that if the Lord's willing and if I live long enough. Let's see. Yeah, something like that. I done forgot what it was. I've just got so many different things on my mind all the time. That's one reason why I get so forgetful. I've got about 10,000 things on my mind at one time, worrying about stuff. And I know we ain't supposed to worry, but I do. I can't help it. Because life has always been hard, and there's always been disastrous stuff that happened of one caliber or another, and so you are on watch at all times for when another shoe is going to drop. All right, now what am I trying to do here? All right, I did that chain 2. Now I need to do 2 double crochets in this circle here. My hands are shaking, and it makes it really hard for me to get a grip on this thing. It's hard for me to get a grip on things that are small. And used to, when I was younger, wasn't no problem at all. But now my hands are getting awkward. I wonder what's the cause of that. Sometimes my hands shake. I wonder what's the cause of that. Yeah, they'll shake a little bit for a short while. Not for a long time, just for a short while. And I never even paid no attention to it much till recently. I've noticed it happens now and then. That never used to happen when I was younger. It's an old person thing to have trembly hands, shaky hands. I know one thing's for sure is I don't have the physical strength that I used to have. I sure don't. I'm weak. I have become plumb weak. I think this is the weakest I've ever been in my life. I think when I was a kid, heck, I was stronger when I was a kid than I am now. Gee, I don't know. It's just whatever whatever that feeble process is. I don't know what causes it or how it happens. I just know that it happens. We get feeble and shaky because we're weak. Strength is gone, along with our youth. Ooh. It's just part of the journey. The journey that I hope to take with Lord Jesus to heaven. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This world is full of hardships and woes. It really is. We try to make the best of it, but we still get whammed and slammed with hardships and woes and heartbreaking, sad stuff and scary stuff and outrageous stuff and injustices and all kinds of stuff. Financial hardships, health problems, all kind of stuff. Everybody gets slammed continuously of one thing or another all throughout their life in this world. Yep. I don't want to know what bad thing might happen next. I don't want to know, and I don't want it to happen. I beg God, please don't let it happen, because I can't take it. I can't take much more of anything bad. I've reached my bad limit. I don't know if there's anybody out there who can understand what I'm saying. I hope there is. But I'm only human, and I have my limits of what I can take, of heartaches and hardships and aggravations on a daily basis and frustrations and sadness, and it's just any old kind of a thing. So this is a world of suffering of all kinds. So I want to go to heaven where there ain't no more suffering and no more sin. Nobody has that sin nature anymore. That Jesus will take that away from us. He'll get rid of it, and we won't have a nature that wants to sin anymore. We'll be set free to be what God originally intended for us to be. We will become what God intended us to be. There's some scriptures that say the gifts and the calling of God are without repentance, which means that God has given each and every one of us at least one gift or talent that we can use throughout our life. And some people more than one, And a lot of people have the gift and the talents for arts and crafts. And you can sell these things and make some money. It's very rare the person that gets wealthy selling anything that's handmade, because the world has got a different outlook on things than what God's viewpoint is. So, but I know what God's viewpoint is, at least enough that I can tell when somebody's talking nonsense for whatever reason. Or if somebody's talking the truth. Our spirits unite. You get some believers together, and they all know what the scriptures say, because they've all done a lot of Bible study and a lot of study and prayer for years, and you get a group of people like that together and get them to talking about this, that, and the other, and you're going to hear some interesting discussions on things. Real interesting. Because God, He might give y'all the same insight, or He might give this person over here a different insight, which would be equally true in the scriptures. But there's layers of truth in God's holy word. It's deep. The word of God is deep, and there's layers to it. And so, you learn and learn, and it's fascinating. Some of it's scary to me. and it's awesome. Awesome. You get to know God's character the more you study the Bible, and start with Genesis and work your way up. God share a lot of His character and His nature all through the Old Testament, and God shares tons of His nature all through the Old Testament. It's real interesting. You really get to know God, what God's about that way. Yeah. It's really fascinating because it's true. Now, okay. Now I gotta finish this. Sometimes I'll get to thinking about one certain thing and I'll drive myself nuts with it. I don't know why I do that. Do y'all think I'm nuts? Does any of y'all ever do that? I've always been a deep thinker. I've always puzzled about things. All my life I've been curious as to what things are and the nature of things. Yeah, I was just curious of the world around me, curious of the life I was living. Well, I wanted to know what was around me and what its purpose was. So I was always curious. Curious George. Remember that old book? Curious George and the Man in the Yellow Hat. When I was a little bitty kid, toddler, me and my brothers, we had that book. And I was just fascinated by it. Fascinated. I couldn't read. I didn't know how to read back then. I was around 3, close to 4 years old. It was around 3, something like that, 3.5. I remember looking at them pictures, and the Man in the Yellow Hat, I thought that was my Uncle Bill, because my Uncle Bill was real tall and skinny and wore those Western clothes and a hat that stuck way up. So I thought that the Man in the Yellow Hat was Uncle Bill. I was just fascinated that somebody made a book about my Uncle Bill having a pet monkey. And I remember wondering, where does that monkey sleep at night? Where does it go? Ain't that weird? The Man in the Yellow Hat. We had some good kids' books back in the 60s. I mean, some interesting ones. All kinds of different stories, and the illustrations in them were just wonderful. And there was a lot of them were stories where they used animals for the characters and all. They were just delightful. Delightful. And some of the books were written to, portray a moral, teach a moral lesson of some kind. And which was good. And then some of them were written just purely for entertainment. But they were all interesting books. There was one, I think it was called Frederick the Mouse, something like that. And that mouse, every winter, he would be real, every summer, he'd be real busy in the summer and the fall, harvesting whatever mice eat and taking it down in his cellar in a hole in the ground or somewhere, and he was stocking up food for the winter. And all summer long, the other critters made fun of him. The other mice, that's what it was. The other mice made fun of him. And Frederick would tell him, y'all better stock up. And everybody would just laugh and make fun of him. But he just kept on keeping on till he had a real good supply of food in his cellar. And then the wintertime came, and it was brutally cold, and there was nothing to eat. It snowed and snowed, and there was nothing to eat for all those other mice. And they was freezing. They didn't have any wood to burn a fire in their fireplace because they hadn't gathered any. They didn't have any food. They hadn't gathered any food. And there it was. There they was. And they talked about how they made fun of Frederick and how they should have listened to him and did what he did. That wasn't the end of the story, but I'm going to end it there. And the pictures in the book, every page was a big picture with a few words, a few sentences right at the very bottom of the page. The artwork was a collage, paper collage. Somebody had meticulously taken construction paper or something similar to that and tearing it up into pieces and making Frederick the Mouse and making a few items of where he was at, and I found that interesting, and it was different. It was different for sure, so I never forgot it. And had another book about this lion. Was it a tiger? It was a tiger. And he was underground. I think he had dug his way out of a prison or something, or maybe he dug his way out of a zoo. I don't know. But he dug himself out of somewhere. And he dug a cave and went on and on and on with it straight out somewhere for a long ways, and then finally he decided to dig up, and he dug upwards, and he went up through the floor of this big fancy house, and these people were having a cocktail party. And, men wearing suits and the women wearing them evening gowns, them silly looking evening gowns. They ain't got no shoulders on them and shit like that, It just looks plumb silly. Like they're fixing to drop their dress plumb off or something. That's what it looks like. It was plumb ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. It does. I can't help it. It just does. It looks ridiculous. But anyway, I don't know what that has to do with anything. Do you? I don't know. I thought we was talking about a shirt, a woman's top. I don't know. The size and the material. Well, you order clothes from Temu, 99.9% of them is going to be polyester. That's about how it is everywhere nowadays. It's getting to where you can't hardly find cotton in the stores. Have y'all noticed that? I have noticed that. That's bizarre and it's disturbing. It's disturbing because polyester can be produced massively, nonstop for practically forever because it's a petroleum product. And so they're making all clothes everywhere nowadays, almost all of them, making them polyester. I've noticed it in all the dollar stores and then Walmart. Now, Walmart used to have cotton clothes, but they don't anymore. They don't. Last couple of years at least, it's been hard to find cotton clothes in the Walmart here, at least here. And I find that very disturbing. Me and my husband went into Academy Surplus in Odessa a few weeks ago. Well, it's been several weeks ago. It's been, I don't know, a month and a half or maybe 2 months ago. But anyway, I went in there. I was wanting to find some cotton knit jersey capris, those knee breeches to wear around, for casual and wear to the grocery store or whatever. And those things used to be sold everywhere, in cotton jersey, soft and comfortable cotton knit jersey. Well, I can't find any like that anymore. Everything's polyester. Polyester is just, it sucks, man. Especially, you can stand it in the wintertime, but when it's the warm and hot, you can't stand it. It's too damn hot because it does not breathe like cotton does. It does not breathe. So, I don't know what that's got to do with anything. But I just screwed up right there, and I did that twice earlier today. Screwed up that same way. I don't know why. I've got quite a few of these red squares made so far, and I'm going to keep making them until this skein is completely used up, and it's getting close to being used up. So I might get, I'm going to say maybe 2 or 3 more squares out of it. We'll see. And then I do some other color. Oh, I can feel them pinched nerves in my back. Oh, this chair that my husband used to sit in, it's comfortable except for the seat part is too long, so that makes it go back too far because my legs are not that long, see? So when I want to sit up a little bit straight, I can't because the seat goes back too far behind me. I need a pillow that I can, a soft, pliable pillow, like a bed pillow, that I can put back there behind my back. I'm going to have to buy one, a new one from Walmart, so I'll have one. Now let me think. Or I can use the stuffing I have in here. That's what I'll do. I think I've got 2 bags of stuffing in there. In the junk room, I can make a pillow to go across there. Yes, sir. I make a pillow that'll fit right across there. Because our backs need some support in our lower backs. This chair does not support the lower back or the upper back very much either, for that matter. It's just too soft. Too soft. the weirdest dreams at night. I dreamed about my mom, I think, last night. But I think she pretty much stayed in the background, though. Okay, so we turn and go this way. Dagnabbit. Get back on the hook. Now see, today I washed my blankets and sheets and pillowcases and mattress protector and got all that washed and most of it dried, and I got the bed remade nice and clean. So I'm going to have to take a shower tonight so I can go to bed clean. Because I'm filthy and grungy. I'm grungy. I wish Paul would bathe the dogs for me. They both need to be bathed again. Nobody wants to hear that. Somebody's out there popping a few firecrackers. Nobody wants to hear that now. All the neighbors are sitting in their houses right now thinking, hey, I hope they ain't gonna do that all night. My nose keeps itching. And something had me sneezing a good part of the day today. I sneezed 1,000,000 times. I know one thing that's been bothering me, these dang pesky gnats, they try to fly up your nose. If your mouth is open, they'll try to fly down your throat. This crazy, stupid, pesky. And wrist is cracking. Shit. What a bummer. So, and I am ready to start making something. But I have to have enough squares. This gets tedious. Day after day, just making the same squares. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've made 8 today. And my wrist is starting to snap. That carpal tunnel is talking to me. So I'm gonna quit for the night, but look, this is how much yarn I've got left. It's about used up, see? Well, anyway, you can see here's the wrapper. It's about used up, but I'll still get a few more squares out of that. All right, I've got to sit here and psych myself up to go in there and bathe. Because it wears me out. And I'm always half afraid I might fall. And Paul wouldn't check on me for, who knows, a couple of days. Oh, God. He might check on me after 2 days. I don't know. I need somebody to be with me. I don't need to be alone most of the time. It's really hard for me. I keep doing what I can, but it's really hard. And plus I'm lonesome. I feel all alone because I am all alone. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't want to go to a nursing home and just sit there on the side of a bed all day. not being any trouble to anybody. Staring at the walls, I can't do that. And lose everything I ever owned. Mm-mm. No. Mm-mm. No, I want to stay here at home until the Lord takes me away. I need somebody who's very trustworthy. Somebody who's kind and understanding and helpful and don't mind being helpful. And somebody to just be there, somebody to talk to sometimes. Somebody to just be there. But I know people have their lives to live, I know. Now, some chocolate milk would sure be good right now. Well, we don't have anything to make chocolate milk with, but I'm going to get me some milk. And I'm going to get me one of them fudge cakes that Honey Bunny went to town today and bought some cakes, and he bought some fudge cakes. I left the oatmeal cakes and the apple cakes, apple pie cakes, those little apple pie things, He really likes those, and those are good. So I leave those for him, and I left the oatmeal cakes in there. We can share them oatmeal cakes, but I like the fudgy brownie cakes. The best, man, they're good. It tastes like that, it's more like you're eating a brownie than a cookie. They're shaped like a cookie and all that, but it's more like you're eating a brownie. They're good. Fudge cakes. And we already ate all of the fudgy popsicles. They're gone. So, where's that little girl at? Where are you at? Mila? Where'd you go, Mila? I don't know, she might have went in yonder. There's that little girl, there's Lily. There you are, Lily. Lily Mae. She's just a little baby. Lily Mae. Look at that Lily Mae. She's just a baby. Well, I'm going to get off of this thing now. And I'm going to get one of them fudgy things and some milk. And maybe that'll help me to get energized to get in there and take that much dreaded shower. Oh, God. Even with a chair seat in there, it's still a lot of work. And I'm so tired. Well, anyway, I shall talk to y'all later if the Lord's willing and the creeks don't rise. Okay. Good night, y'all.